Hello again. My name is Trevor Childs. Welcome to Christians of the West, and this is my second confession. The second experience that I had with God recently that kind of continued to drive home that I need to do something. Something's happening. I need to focus in and reassert my faith and connection with God, with Jesus, and with the Spirit within me. So it was about June, let's say, earlier this year, maybe May. I'm not exactly sure. April, May, June, somewhere right there, right in that second quarter area. I had a dream where I woke up and I sat up in my bed, and I was like a child. I was me, but I was like small, and Jesus was sitting at the foot of my bed. He was very large, and so just to kind of give you an idea, his head was somewhere up there, I'm 5'9", but we're talking, he's sitting down and he's almost like 6 foot sitting down. It's an 8-foot ceiling, so I'm trying to point, he had to be, somewhere like that at the top of his head, right in there. He was my height, but sitting down, you know what I mean? Like, maybe up to 6 foot or something. So he had to be huge. He had to be 9-10 feet tall or something like that. And he was just, he did not look like the English version of, or Americanized version of Jesus, where he has very white features, Caucasian or Anglo-Saxon features. He had very, I don't know if you call him like Middle Eastern, not quite, I guess, but like I don't know the regions very well to like distinguish one versus another, but very like Turkish, Greek, kind of that crescent area, where he had a very long face, he had a beard, a little longer than mine, a couple inches longer than mine, probably, something like that, and very high cheekbones, very sunken cheeks, very like strong jawline, and strong nose. Let's see, a little bit more straight angled. He has very straight angled face overall, just a chiseled look, and strong nose. I remember, like this part of it, I forget what this is called, but a little wider, narrower, wider again, just and a little longer. I don't have the longest nose, but just long features, and he sat there in his chair, and he was in his robe. It was not pure white; it was a little off-white, and he had a reddish maroonish sash going from his left shoulder down to his right waist, and he sat there essentially with his eyes closed, and I feel like he spoke to me, and we prayed together, and he told me to reassert my faith, and to love more, and to love, to focus in on loving my family and being a strong leader for my family, and to assert myself at the head of the household, and to essentially guide my family in faith, and others. He told me, not at that time, but I've since understood that I was to try and reach out to others in the world, and so I'm doing what I can. But anyway, so he was this giant dude sitting in a chair, in a big wooden chair, with big, just, it was significant. It was pitch black in my room. It was dark, just like any other night. But I could see just as clearly as I can see myself in this camera. I could see him in that room, almost as if not like he glowed, but like he stood, like he was the brightest thing in the room. Like he is almost like darkness couldn't touch him. It was like he was there, and everything else was black, like dark, and I don't know how to explain it, but he sat there and he was sweating. I remember he was sweating on his face and he was sweating on his arms. I saw his robe was up a little bit on his arm, and I just remember beads of sweat on his hand and his wrist, and just like how strong his hand looked, like he had all, just like man hands, and he just sat there calmly, like this, and anything he spoke to me, he didn't have to verbalize it. It was silent in the room, but I heard the message. I understood what he was telling me, and it took time after that day to fully understand what he was telling me, and I think that I've received more information as time has gone on as well. So that happened, and that shook me, I'll be honest. Like I've been a Christian my whole life, and I feel like God has taken care of me in many ways at many different times, and I've felt His intervention in my life many different times, but I've never seen a physical representation of God that I acknowledge, that I was aware of. You know what I mean? Like, I think that God appears to us all the time, and we just aren't receptive. We're not realizing that we have the opportunity to be a child of God in the moment. Maybe God gives you opportunities throughout life to better yourself, and a lot of those seem like challenges or like instances of like a trial or like a conflict or something like that, and I feel like we're always caught up in the moment and our emotions and our feeble brains and feelings and all that stuff, and we don't seize the opportunity to be a better representation of God, and we don't realize that maybe the person we're dealing with is God, acting through or whatever. There's all kinds of stuff that you can go on and on thinking about stuff like that, but anyway, took a long time to process that. I still to this day process it, I'm constantly seeing His face. I'm seeing the face of God all the time. Like, in my mind, I can't get that image of Him sitting in that chair out of my head, and just the strength of God sitting before me, and me just being this child with, like, curled up on my bed, like arms around my legs, knees up, head on my hands or whatever, and just sitting before Jesus. So anyway, that happened, and I have been reading the Bible ever since, almost daily. Sometimes you take a me break or whatever it is, but I can't say that I read every single day. I'm not gonna lie, but there are many days where I'm reading all day. Sometimes it seems like the Bible just doesn't end, and like I'll reread things, and I'll meditate on things, and I'll think about a lesson that I think I'm supposed to take in throughout the day, and Yeah, I can't tell you how much my life has changed since that moment that I sat with Jesus. Um, how much my life is exactly the same. Still working the same job, still sitting in the same room, still got the same friends, still doing the same things. But my mind is clear, my heart is clear. I'm at ease with life. Just I feel better. I can't tell you how much greater I feel today than I did a year ago, before God came knocking. So that's the second instance, and kind of a very large catalyst in my recent resurgence in faith.